Good morning and a very warm welcome. This is the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Well, as we all know, one part of the United States is on fire and a different part is experiencing freezing temperatures. A headline-making international news item these days concerns the multiple wildfires that broke out in Los Angeles recently. Millions have been affected, 0% of the fire has been contained, and 5 deaths have been reported so far. However, U.S. authorities say that the death toll is, however, expected to rise in the near future as well. This story is definitely one of our key international news items coming up this morning on the Breakfast Rundown. As for local news, the deadline imposed by the government for the importation of rice to the country concludes today, and also the Public Utilities Commission's public consultation concerning electricity tariff revisions will also conclude today. We also have several other important local news items coming up right here on the Breakfast Rundown. Stay tuned with us. We have all the news in detail. Let's move on to our top local news item for this morning. The deadline imposed by the government for the importation of rice to Sri Lanka concludes at midnight today. The Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Food Security announced that following the expiration of this deadline, any rice stocks arriving in the country will be redirected. Taking advantage of the opportunity given for rice imports, the private sector has already imported over 125,000 metric tons of rice. 5,000 metric tons of rice have been imported to the country through the intervention of the Sri Lanka State Trading Corporation. Meanwhile, the public consultation on electricity tariff revisions is set to conclude today, with public opinions being gathered from the Western Province within this day. The PUCSL announced that the consultation of public opinions in the Western Province will take place at the Bandaranaike Memorial International Conference Hall in Colombo. Over 70 people have registered to participate in this event. Public consultations in 8 provinces have already been completed. The Public Utilities Commission stated that a decision with regards to the reduction of the electricity tariff will be announced before the 17th of this month. Now, the Gum at the Door-to-Door program, which aims to understand and provide solutions to the daily challenges faced by the poor and vulnerable living in the most remote and underserved parts of the country, continues today for a second day. This program, conducted in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya, marks the initial phase of the annual Gum at the Work Program. The 4 teams of Gum at the will visit today the districts of Jaffna, Nuwara Eliya, Anuradhapura, Kalutara to document numerous unresolved issues through scientific methods. Let's move on to more local news for this morning. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority plans to reduce the prices of 90 types of medicines. A senior official of the NMRA stated that several pharmaceutical companies have encountered obstacles due to ongoing legal proceedings filed in district courts. He mentioned that the necessary issues will be addressed promptly and actions will be taken in this regard. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority announced that following this, the price reductions of these medicines will be implemented without delay. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Aviation has decided to expedite the construction of the Eastern Terminal at the Colombo Port. Deputy Minister Therunee said that the construction is planned to be completed by July this year. He also stated that the construction of the Western Terminal, which is being carried out by the Adani Group of India, will be completed next month. The Deputy Minister highlighted that with the completion of both terminals, the Colombo Port's annual handling capacity will increase from 8 million to 13 million TEUs, which will be a significant boost for the country's development as well as international trade. Let's move on to our weather update for this morning. Rainy conditions are expected to enhance over the northern, north central and eastern provinces and in the Matale and Kandy districts in the next few days starting today. The Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the northern, north central, eastern and Uba provinces and in the Matale and Nuwara Eliya districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters can be expected in some places as well. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western, Sabaragamuwa and southern provinces and in the Kandy district during the afternoon or night. Fairly strong winds of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the northern, eastern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota district. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, southern and Uba provinces during the morning hours as well. And as always, the general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Allow me to shift your attention to news overseas for this morning. The headline-making international news item is, of course, the wildfires that are rapidly spreading throughout Los Angeles in the United States of America. Wildfires in Los Angeles have killed at least 5 people, and forecasters warn more high winds may fan the flames further. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna says it hasn't been safe to reach many hard-hit areas, and the death toll would definitely change. Austin investigators are looking into the start of one fire in the Palisades, which has gone on to destroy more than 5,300 structures. The Eaton fire is estimated to have destroyed 4,000 to 5,000 structures. A curfew is planned for some areas after police arrested 20 people for looting abandoned homes. Crews dealing with the blaze told foreign media that they are desperately short of water and fear that they are fighting a losing battle. The Los Angeles Fire Department, meanwhile, has issued a mandatory evacuation order after a new fire spread in the Woodland Hills area on the border of Los Angeles and Ventura counties. The Los Angeles Fire Department says that the Kenneth fire is burning south. Meanwhile, officials say that at least 20 people have been arrested in the Los Angeles County for looting during the wildfires. The Los Angeles County Sheriff says his team has been working on implementing a curfew around the areas affected by the fires to address looting. Let's move on to another international news item for this morning, once again from the United States. The accused mastermind of the 9/11 terror attacks on the U.S. will no longer plead guilty on Friday after the U.S. government moved to block plea deals reached last year from going ahead. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 2 co-defendants reached agreements in July to plead guilty to all charges in exchange for not facing death penalty trial. In a filing with Federal Appeals Court, the Justice Department argued that the government would be irreparably harmed if the pleas were accepted. In its decision, the court said it needed more time to weigh the case and put the proceedings on hold. It has not yet ruled on whether Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has the power to walk back the plea deal. The ruling comes after a military judge and appeals panel rejected a previous move by Austin to revoke the agreements, which had been signed by a senior official that he appointed. Families of some of those killed in the 9/11 attacks had criticized the deals, while others saw them as a way of moving the complex and long-running case forward. We also have another international news item, once again from the United States. TikTok will appear before the US Supreme Court on Friday in a last-ditch effort to overturn a ban in a case testing the limits of the national security and free speech. The popular social media platform is challenging a law passed last year, ordering the firm to be split from its Chinese owner or be blocked by the United States by the 19th of January. The US government is arguing that without a sale, TikTok could be used by China as a tool for spying and political manipulation. But TikTok rejects that claim, arguing it has been unfairly targeted and the measure violates the free speech of its some 170 million American users. Lower courts have sided with the government, but the case was complicated last month when President-elect Donald Trump weighed in on the dispute and asked for the enforcement of the law to be paused to grant him time to work out a deal. Analysts have said it is not clear what the Supreme Court will decide, but that reversing the prior ruling, even with the future president's blessing, would be unusual. Congress passed the law against TikTok last year with support from both the Democratic and Republican parties in the US. The moment marked the culmination of years of concern about the wildly popular platform, which is known for its viral videos and traction, especially among young people. The legislation does not forbid the use of the app, but would require tech giants such as Apple and Google to stop offering it and inhibit updates, which analysts suggest would kill it over time. Well, that's wrap up this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. Today is Friday, so I'll see you once again on Monday, the 13th of January at 7 a.m. right here on TV1. Until then, take care, have a wonderful day and weekend ahead.